The contingent of police officers who had flown to Haiti to assist with restoring peace in the country say that they did not think twice when called upon to go and assist the country reclaim its dignity back. Here is the story.
In the course of our deployment, we lost 3 gallant men in the line of duty. Their heroic sacrifice is what pushed us as troops to do more and make them proud as they rest among the angels. And we believe they are our heroes and they will remain to be our heroes.
And to the families of these gallant officers, of these heroes and heroines before us here, we also say a big thank you for allowing these officers to proceed to a foreign land to discharge their duty when they were most needed. Haiti today is much better. It's far much better than the way it was 22 months ago.
I know you served under very tough conditions and you were serving against vicious criminal gangs, but your bravery helped give Haiti's people a fighting chance at peace. The United States honors your sacrifice that you and your families made for Haiti's stabilization, especially those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
For months, you have walked where the air was foreign, where the horizon offered no familiar silhouettes, and where every dawn arrived with the crack of gunfire rather than the crow of a rooster. Today, the tarmac beneath your boots is Kenyan soil. Welcome home, karibuni sana.
The world should never again forget Haiti. The efforts of these officers of the MSS team should never go to waste. We believe that the gang suppression force will pick it from where we left, and Haiti should be better. Every other year, we should hear good news from Haiti moving forward.
And we are still in Kenya, where multitudes found themselves at the airport to welcome the record-breaking man, Sebastian Sawe, the individual who broke the record that has not been broken for many years, having run the marathon in under 2 hours. Kenyans were there to celebrate him, but together with the government. Here is the story of the triumphant entry of the man.
Sebastian, you have not only broken a record, you have expanded the horizon of human potential. You have done what many believed could not be done. You have made the impossible possible. And in so doing, you have inspired a nation, you have inspired a whole generation, and you have inspired the world. What makes this accomplishment even more extraordinary is that until just 2 years ago, you were not a marathoner. Yet since you stepped into the marathon stage in 2024, you have remained unbeaten. On your debut in Valencia, you recorded 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 5 seconds. The second fastest debut in history. From that moment, you have demonstrated rare consistency, unyielding discipline, and the mindset of a true champion. Your return to London to win again and set a new record confirms one enduring truth. You were destined for greatness.
Nasema asante sana President wetu Kwa siku ya leo, kwa nafasi hii ambao nimepata siku ya leo kufika hapa, nasema asante sana. Kwa kazi ambayo nilienda nikafanya kule London, nilifanya kwa niaba ya sisi wote kujenga jina ya nchi yetu iendelee kung'aa kabisa, na ni furaha kwa sisi wote. Nasema tu asante, na bado tutazidi kutia bidii kwa talanta zetu na kujenga jina ya taifa letu ibaki kukaa juu kabisa.
And we are in Mali. In Mali, the president says that the price of victory and the price of peace is expensive and at times comes with consequences. But he has assured the country that peace and connectivity is there in the country for everybody to celebrate despite attacks from a junta militia.
Je m'adresse à vous en ce moment d'extrême gravité que traverse notre pays suite à des attaques terroristes.
I address you at this moment of extreme gravity that our country is going through following the terrorist attacks that occurred on April 25, 2026. These complex, coordinated and simultaneous attacks targeted the localities of Bamako, Kati, Kona, Moti, Gao and Kidal. Thanks to the promptness and professionalism of the armed and security forces, a strong blow was dealt to the assailants, whose objective was to create a climate of widespread violence in these areas. Thanks to the composure of the forces engaged and the coherence maintained within the chain of command, the enemy's sinister plan was thwarted, with a significant number of attackers neutralized. As I speak, security measures have been reinforced. The situation is under control and clearance. Such intelligence exploitation and security operations are ongoing. It is with great sadness that I pay a heartfelt tribute to our late Minister of State, Minister of Defense and Veterans Affairs, General of the Army Corps Sadio Kamara, whose passing is an immense loss for the Malian nation. This brave officer served Mali with loyalty, courage and dignity, with a strong sense of duty at a time when our country is engaged in a relentless fight against terrorism. These attacks are not isolated acts. They are part of a broader destabilization plan designed and carried out by terrorist armed groups with internal and external sponsors, providing them with intelligence and logistical support. This is the moment to reaffirm Mali's firm determination to stay on course of its refoundation. Our people have made a choice, the choice of sovereignty and dignity, symbolizing taking control of their own destiny. This choice reflects a strong and assumed national will. It comes at a cost, and we are fully aware of it. Although difficult by nature, this choice is the only path forward if we want to offer our children a free, just and prosperous future.
Contre le terrorisme. Ces attaques ne sont pas des faits isolés. Elles s'inscrivent dans un vaste plan de déstabilisation conçu et exécuté par les groupes armés terroristes et les sponsors internes et externes qui leur fournissent du renseignement et des moyens logistiques. C'est le lieu de raffirmer la ferme volonté du Mali de maintenir le cap de sa refondation. Notre peuple a fait un choix, celui de la souveraineté et de la dignité qui symbolise la prise en main de son destin. Ce choix est l'expression d'une volonté nationale affirmée et assumée. Il a un prix et nous en sommes conscients. Bien que dur par sa nature, ce choix est le seul chemin qui vaille si nous voulons offrir à nos enfants un avenir libre, juste et prospère.
And we are in Nigeria. Here, officials went to visit and condole with families following the attack that left 29 dead. They said this is part of government's assurance that they are there with the people and also assured them of the security.
The thing is, it appears they are informants who are in our midst, who are even maybe sons of the soil. You know, that's the situation. And what happened here, it was gathering of the youth. They were having tournament. You know, naturally, if they are informants, these are areas they can just capitalize.
It's really unfortunate, actually, that we're having these incidents back to back in the state. Last week we were in Gombe, in Hong. Today again it has happened in Gombe local government with 29 lives lost in these incidents. We will continue to do our best. They are our people and we'll stand for them. We'll ensure government also collaborate with the military and other security agencies to ensure they are well protected.
And Niger has come out guns blazing, accusing France of being behind the militia attack that was seen in Mali, saying that France is behind the attacks. Here is the story.
Nous sommes convaincus que ces attaques sont coordonnées et planifiées par les puissances étrangères, notamment la France.
We are convinced that these attacks are coordinated and planned by foreign powers, notably France, clearly aimed at destabilizing the alliance of Sahel states. They are taking place against a backdrop of tensions marked by determination of our three countries to take control of their own destiny, assert their sovereignty and reject any external interference. The National Coordination of Vigilance Brigades expresses its deep solidarity with the brotherly people of Mali, the victims, their families and all those affected by this tragedy. In the face of these threats, which know neither borders nor limits, the National Coordination of Vigilance Brigades informs the public that vigilance must be stepped up in all Sahel states, Niger, Burkina Faso and Mali. We reiterate our commitment to remaining fully dedicated to our mission of civic vigilance and the preservation of social peace, and urge the public to strengthen cooperation with the defense and security forces. We also call on our authorities to exercise the utmost caution when traveling, given the current challenges posed by persistent insecurity.
À demeurer pleinement à notre mission de veille citoyenne et de préservation de la paix sociale, et exhortant la population à renforcer la coopération avec les forces de défense et de sécurité. Nous appelons également nos autorités à la plus grande prudence dans leur déplacement face aux défis actuels liés à l'insécurité persistante.
Congolese President Sassou Nguesso was in Russia to meet with his counterpart Vladimir Putin, and while there he laid the flowers on the tomb of the unknown soldiers. This as he continues with the discussions and bilateral arrangements and talks with President Vladimir Putin. Still on the war in the Middle East, and the US military says that they stormed an Omani ship and freed those that were on board. This as the fight has been taken offshore. But the US military says they are here to ensure that there is sanity on the sea. Still in the Middle East, and plumes of flames could be seen atop Lebanon. This following the Israeli attack in a town in Lebanon. This as the fight continues, but one asks, until when? King Charles III visited the United States of America since he was crowned the position. But then he says that the relationship between United Kingdom and United States of America is a partnership of mutuals and that this is there to stay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we meet in times of great uncertainty, in times of conflict from Europe to the Middle East, which pose immense challenges for the international community and whose impact is felt in communities the length and breadth of our own countries. We meet too in the aftermath of the incident not far from this great building that sought to harm the leadership of your nation and to foment wider fear and discord. Let me say with unshakable resolve, such acts of violence will never succeed. Ours is a partnership born out of dispute, but no less strong for it. So perhaps in this example, we can discern that our nations are in fact instinctively like-minded, a product of the common democratic, legal, and social traditions in which our governance is rooted to this day. Drawing on these values and traditions, time and again, our two countries have always found ways to come together. And by Jove, Mr. Speaker, when we have found that way to agree, what great change is brought about, not just for the benefit of our peoples, but of all peoples. This, I believe, is the special ingredient in our relationship. As President Trump himself observed during his state visit to Britain last autumn, the bond of kinship and identity between America and the United Kingdom is priceless and eternal. It is irreplaceable and unbreakable. It is why, it is my hope, my prayer, that in these turbulent times, working together and with our international partners, we can stem the beating of plowshares into swords. I am mindful that we are still in the season of Easter, the season that most strengthens my hope. It is why I believe with all my heart that the essence of our two nations is a generosity of spirit and a duty to foster compassion, to promote peace, to deepen mutual understanding, and to value all people of all faiths and of none.
You see, the king was in United States of America, and here he addressed both President Trump and Congress. But let's talk about his address to President Trump. It said that if it was not for the United Kingdom colonizing the US today as we speak, maybe, just maybe, the United States will be speaking French.
And we're doing a little Middle East work right now, two of you might know, and we're doing very well. We have militarily defeated that particular opponent, and we're never going to let that opponent ever, Charles agrees with me, even more than I do, we're never going to let that opponent have a nuclear weapon. They know that, and they've known it right now very powerfully. But our countries have stood together, defiant and triumphant against the forces of communism, fascism, and tyranny. Together we have expanded the reaches of human knowledge and endeavored always to make this world safer, more prosperous, more just, and more free. Ours is a treasured friendship, an eternal bond, and a true story of extraordinary heroism and skill, a lot of skill, tremendous skill. History has known no more powerful force than the combination of American patriotism and British pride.
Our people have fought and fallen together in defense of the values we cherish. Across the ocean and from coast to coast, we have traded, innovated, and created together. We've stood together through the best and worst of times. However, the challenges we now face, from those who wish us harm across the world to balancing the risks and opportunities of powerful new technologies, to the threats to the very international rules that have allowed us to trade and have kept power in balance for 80 years, those challenges encourage us to reaffirm tonight the basis on which our partnership has been built. And yes, we have had our moments of difficulty, even in more recent history. So tonight, Mr. President, I am delighted to present to you, as a personal gift, the original bell which hung on the conning tower of your valiant namesake. May it stand as a testimony to our nation's shared history and shining future. And should you ever need to get hold of us, or just give us a ring. For 250 years, the ingenuity and imagination of the people of the United States have been an inspiration to the world. Indeed, you recently commented, Mr. President, that if it were not for the United States, European countries would be speaking German. Dare I say that if it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking French.
In Russia, the residents were forced to create an avalanche because the snow had actually compounded to levels that were dangerous, but they decided to create that avalanche for things to go back to normal. Imagine finding a solution to a problem. And in Armenia, thousands came out to celebrate because they do have an international festival for dancing. Many came out to showcase how they can move. Do they have both legs that are left? Armenians say no. And here, they came out and showed up. From geopolitics to culture and to sports, all that only on International Roundups. Dennis Aseto, KTN, in partnership with Viori.